I have actually already made one V-knife video today, which you may or may not have seen. But that was of the newly released V-knife Exciton or Exciton. I'm still not sure about the pronunciation of that name. But there was another model released as well at the very same time, and that is the Magnetron, which I have in this box. So the Magnetron is not a limited release, unlike the Cepheus and the Exciton. But it's still quite an exciting release, let me tell you that. So you can see at the box here we have some information about this specific Magnetron, and it states grey titanium handle with aluminum foil carbon fiber inlay, hand rubbed satin CPM 20 CV blade. That is the version that I went with, that I thought looked, well, the best to me, but we all have our different preferences. Anyways, let's do a bit of a unboxing here. And as you can see, there is no text about any limited edition, which could be seen on the package of the Cepheus and the Exciton. But other than that, other than the text, it is the exact same, cardboard sleeve here, the exact same type of box and everything. And I guess the contents, well, aside from the knives, are going to be pretty much identical. So, as we have come to expect, a single bag of silica gel, a V-knife Arrakis sticker, and another V-knife sticker, or whatever this is actually. Perhaps it feels like a sticker, but perhaps it isn't. We got this little text thing here. It's quite boring actually. It's instructions before use, introduction, etc. I doubt anyone reads this at all. And then we got this piece of cloth here, which is well, the single most useful item out of all the contents here, aside from the pouch and the knife. We don't get any certificate of authenticity or anything. I guess that is only for the limited knives, right? We do, however, get this classic nice V-knife pouch for the knife. So let's unpouch it and remove the plastic wrapping. So this is what the Magnetron looks like in this specific configuration. You can get it with a Damasteel blade if you want, you can get it with a black coated blade, or you can get it with a hand rubbed satin finished blade. You can get it with black titanium or grey titanium, and with different types of inlays. But I've got to say that this specific configuration really stood out to me. It was, in my opinion, the most aesthetically pleasing one. I really like the grey titanium with the aluminum foil inlay, with the blue accents, and then the satin hand rub blade. It just does it for me. Really, really nice, elegant, classy, even looking folder. So oh, that was actually quite snappy. Look at that, aggressive clip point. Man, could this be the sleeper hit of 2023 in terms of V-knives? And I mean, we've seen some really nice models so far this year, but yeah, man, this feels... Oh man. Love at first sight, or first flip perhaps. So maybe we should go into the specs and then talk a little bit about the design and ergos, balance point, etc. So let's start with the specs. Like I said, titanium handle, aluminum foil inlay, CPM 20 CV blade. We've got an overall length here of 219 millimeters with a blade length or cutting length of 96 millimeters. We've got a blade thickness of 4 millimeters, so a bit thicker than what we've seen with the Exciton and the Cepheus, which were 3.2 millimeters. Slightly too thin in my opinion. I really do like. I think that 4mm is probably the sweet spot for me in terms of most folding knives. Sometimes you might want something slightly thinner, sometimes you might want something, well, even thicker, but 4mm is, yeah, I'm gonna say that it's my sweet spot of sorts. We also got a close length here of, let's see, of 123mm. So I would say that this is a medium to large sized knife in a very nice design. It is a frame lock. Let's take a look at the lockup here. Solid lockup, around 30% perhaps. Didn't take that close of a look. Got 0 blade play and smooth, really smooth closing action, really nice opening action as well. The centering is 100% spot on. The balance point of the knife, let's see, it's gonna be a bit back heavy, right? Yeah, so this is where we find the balance point, a little bit behind the finger groove here. So it is slightly back heavy. Even though we got, you know, this sort of the holes, the milling, etc., making for a bit of a weight relief of some sort. Actually, did I mention the weight of the knife? I think I did not. So this specific version of the knife weighs 144 grams. I'm gonna guess that the one with titanium, flame titanium inlay, etc. is going to be slightly heavier. Not by a lot, but by a few grams at least. So let's talk a little bit more about the design here and what is offered. Obviously a semi-aggressive clip point. We've got quite a bit of jimping here. That is, well, this is kind of the perfect jimping, I would say. The perfect middle ground. Not too smooth, not too rough, but gives you a bit of a good grip at least. And also the contouring here. You see it is slightly, you know, rounded of sorts or contoured, making it easy to rest your thumb here. And we also got this finger choil, which is a full finger choil. Much like the Cepheus and the Exciton. They are now doing these really good finger choils, which I appreciate. So this gives you quite a nice grip, I would say. Size or ergos in general, the ergos of this knife is really nice, quite ergonomical. And I wear size 10 in gloves, fairly large hands. Placing the knife in my hand like this shows you that we got quite a bit of room here, especially if we're going with the finger choil, but also in this more normal grip. This one feels pretty excellent in hand, I've got to say that. It's just a reverse grip. Feels, well, if possible, even better in a reverse grip, which is a shame since not a lot of people, or I am not going to use this in a reverse grip, but it feels really good. Pocket clip, sort of a, well, semi-standard pocket clip. But it does look nice. I mean, it is a little bit milled at least, and the screw is hidden here. So I mean, it does have a good look to it. It fits the you know, general look of the knife, definitely. Backspacer here, kind of nice looking backspacer. Nothing too fancy, but it goes well with the overall design of the knife. Not being over the top, but still, you know, having some nice milling and details to it. We also have here a lanyard hole for those people that enjoy using lanyards. I never do use lanyards, but for those that like to have the option. I mean, it's not something that takes away from the general design, since, I mean, it is not, you know, visible really unless you turn the knife like this. Like I said, clip point, a little bit of a swedge going on here, quite good width to the blade, kind of thin behind the edge as well. I'm making more and more slicing knives, I would say. So this is a flat grind, and it is thin behind the edge, and I think that is a good thing, definitely. On the flipper tab we do have a bit of jimping, not super aggressive, but gives you a little bit more traction. Overall, I really like this knife. And right now I'm feeling that maybe I should have gone with one more, the one in black titanium with flamed titanium inlay, perhaps. I could have considered Damasteel version if it was Hakkapella Damasteel instead of Heimskringla. And I also got to say that I personally am not, a big fan of the Nebula fat carbon fiber inlay. I think it looks a little bit all over the place. So this is, in my opinion, this really is the classiest looking version of the Magnetron. But it's all personal preferences. But this knife, I mean, this is love at first sight. I mean, I love, bow styled folders. I don't have a whole lot of them. And this clip point, it just, and not just a clip point design, I mean the entire package. This is one good looking design. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if they call this one a limited edition, because it really feels, exclusive in some sense. And the action, both the closing, but especially, the opening action is just off the charts. Snappy. But we should probably test out the sharpness. I did test the sharpness of the Exciton or Exciton, and the sharpness was quite pleasing. So I hope this one is sharp as well. So let's do the same kind of test. Slice some printing paper and some newspaper. Like I mentioned, we are going to go with one piece of regular printing paper, and we're going to go with a piece of newspaper. So different types of texture and different types of challenges for slicing. And we're going to start with the printing paper here. Well, I mean, you can probably see it for yourself, but this knife is sharp. I think WeKnife are doing great things in terms of sharpness right now. Seem to be pretty, consistent in their sharpness, which is quite nice, of course. So, slicing printing paper was obviously no challenge for the Magnetron, but now we're gonna try slicing some newspaper instead. I think it will do just fine though. Load that and bring out a piece of newspaper. So this is a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah, it is most definitely a sharp knife. No doubt about that. So I think I'm gonna keep this video kind of short as well, much as I did with the Exciton video. But to me, this knife is, well, potentially one of my new favorites from WeKnife. I think I said perhaps something like that about the Cepheus as well, but to be honest, out of the Cepheus, Exciton and the Magnetron, I think I like this one the most. I mean, the look, the feel, the fit and finish, the sharpness, the ergos. This one is just, it gets everything right. And if it was offered in Hakkapella Dama steel and with this handle configuration, this exact handle configuration, and then Hakkapella Dama steel, I would have bought it in an instant. That would have been really, really nice. What I might do now is that I think I'm gonna pick up the black titanium version with flamed titanium inlays. Is it more like gold or bronze accents compared to the blue hardware here, blue screws, blue accents. And I think I failed to mention it before, but it's also flamed titanium for the pivot screws here. Might be hard to catch the light here, but it looks nice. I mean, from an aesthetical perspective, they did everything right with this knife. I sometimes feel like WeKnife mismatches in terms of colors and materials. I mean, it's a good thing they always offer so many versions of their knives, right? But sometimes I just feel like, they don't get it completely right. But with this one, they got it 100% right. There's not a single thing I would change with this specific version. This knife is love at first sight, truly. Man, this is. I feel like WeKnife, they have found their roots again. They are back in business. They are pushing out new great designs, intuitive designs with nice engineering, perfect fit and finish, excellent sharpness. They have, after a few years of having lost track, they are now back on track. And that's both good and bad, because it's bad because it's going to cost me a lot of money to start buying a lot of WeKnives again. But the good part is that I really like what they're doing now. I'm not sure what my next WeKnife is going to be. It might be the riffraff, or my next WeKnife is going to be this one, but in another configuration as well. But my next new WeKnife model. But the riffraff is looking interesting, and then I'm not even sure what WeKnife have up their sleeves right now. But I honestly can't wait. I mean, this is exciting times being a WeKnife fan. That's for sure.